Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of On the Mark TV and Radio, here from Westfield Community Programming Channel 15, 89.5 FM WSKB, and our media partners at Agawam Media and Southwick Community Television. I'm your host, Mark Auerbach, and today we're going to have a little Athenaeum spotlight at the Westfield Athenaeum with Guy McLain and Becky Blackburn. It's good to see both of you. How are you doing?
Good to see you too, Mark.
Yeah, doing great.
I know that you guys had a successful opening for your chamber music series a couple of weeks ago. The musicians had let me know that they felt so welcome there, and it was a great audience.
It really was. We had a good audience. The audience loved it. The program was varied. We had a couple of Mozart pieces, Dvorak, and then we had a couple of American composers. One, Carlos Simon, who wrote a piece just 3 years ago for the New York Philharmonic, for musicians from the New York Philharmonic to play on the streets of New York City during the pandemic. So they played that piece as well, which was very interesting piece. Beautiful concert altogether.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know that they're putting the finishing touches on the 3 concerts for the winter and spring. I've seen the programs and the guests and how it's going to play out that they're getting ready to put together for you, and it's really kind of exciting.
Yes, I think a concert in February, March, and April. It's going to be a nice series. With 3 different chamber groups from the Springfield Symphony Orchestra musicians. I think it's going to be a wonderful season for us. Great classical music ahead.
And one of the things, remember, last spring, Harmonia 5 was one of the groups that you presented. It's a woodwind quintet, and Robert Hoyle, who's the horn player, is a member of the Springfield Symphony, and it's his quintet. They're coming back to the area to Long Meadow on December 3rd to open the chamber music series of 3 concerts in Long Meadow, and they're doing a holiday pops. So, it's nice to have these local chamber music groups presenting in Long Meadow, in Westfield, in Springfield, and other surrounding communities.
Yeah, we're really excited to be able to sponsor this because we feel, the Springfield Symphony musicians are great themselves, and then they connect to other musicians from around the Northeast, and so it's really nice that the people in this area can hear such a variety of chamber music. I really enjoy chamber music. Some people just go to symphonies, but I think chamber music is a nice added piece that the symphony musicians are offering, and I think it's really great that we have that. And this is what we're doing here at the Athenaeum, this is the only place in Westfield that is featuring classical music. So we're really excited to be a part of this whole process.
And it's kind of fun to go to a chamber music performance. I mean, I like big symphonies with 50 or 75 musicians. But when you go see a chamber music performance with 3, 4, or 5 musicians, boy, you really get to watch them work close up, and you watch how they interact with each other. And there's no conductor, conducting them and setting the pace. They're doing it themselves. For me, it's kind of an interesting visual experience as well as one for the ears.
Well, and also, too, the Westfield Athenaeum, we have a great auditorium, the Lang Auditorium, which is just the right size for chamber music. I mean, that's where the name, comes from, chamber. The music was originally, it got that name because of the fact that it was designed to be, a small group of musicians playing in a small room or a small hall. And our Lang Auditorium is just perfect for chamber music. And I think that's one of the things that I get, audience members have come up to me after the concert and said, oh, it's so nice to be so close to the musicians, to really feel an intimate connection to the music. And that's one of the best experiences when hearing chamber music. And so often today, chamber music is played in halls, auditoriums that are designed for symphony orchestras, which are much too large. So we think not only is it nice for the Athenaeum to be involved with this, we have the perfect space for chamber music concerts.
It's sort of like the comparison. If you go to see Broadway musicals at the Bushnell, in Hartford. It's a big hall that can accommodate a musical the size of Wicked or the Phantom of the Opera. And then somebody brings in a 2-character play and puts it on the stage of the Bushnell. Well, the play can be absolutely terrific, and you can relate to it and all of that, but it's a different dynamic when it's 2 or 3 or 4 actors on the stage versus a musical with 25 people and sets and orchestra and all that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that the same thing applies. We're generally not aware of this, but the setting of where a concert takes place is very, very important to the way it communicates to its audience.
Well, before we talk about the Athenaeum, I'll share with you one little item that the musicians are working on, and it's going to premiere in Long Meadow in May, and hopefully go to Westfield and Springfield and other venues after that. In 2008, Clifton J. Noble Jr., who's a Westfield-born and raised musician, wrote a chamber piece called Johnny Appleseed for narration and chamber orchestra and children's choir. And it premiered on the Long Meadow Chamber Music Series in 2008. And MOSO, Springfield Chamber Players, are going to revive it in May. Casting is not set yet, but it tells the story of Johnny Appleseed, the real Johnny Appleseed, who was born in Leominster but grew up in Long Meadow before he went west and brought apple trees to Pennsylvania and Ohio and all that. So they're going to take a little foray into, whether you want to call it chamber opera or musical theater. It'll be a whole new dimension for them. But they did it in 2008, so it's really ripe for revival at this point. And it's going to happen this spring. I'm really so excited about it. I don't have a lot of details yet, but it'll be available for tours and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's exciting that a piece that's been recently written like that is being revived, and I'm hoping that maybe next year we can find a way to do it here at the Athenaeum. That would be really great if we could do that.
Yeah, I would love to see it in Westfield. It may be a little too big for the Athenaeum. I'm not sure yet, but it certainly would fit well at the middle school down the street. Because that auditorium could accommodate the full symphony that used to rehearse out there. They rehearsed their Sondheim pops out there because Symphony Hall was booked with graduations. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Becky, what's happening at the Athenaeum from Thanksgiving through the New Year that people need to know about?
Thanksgiving through the New Year. Okay, so we've got some of our own concerts that are not chamber music concerts, but there's some diversity in there. It's our Saturday Sounds concerts once a month, and sorry, got to wear my glasses. On October 25th, we have Saturday Sounds with Scott Ouellette, and he's a classical guitarist, but he's also going to be doing Spanish, Brazilian, Latin American pieces and originals. So that'll be an acoustic show. And then at 12/9, and these are both at 1 o'clock, we have Dan Kennedy, who is a local pianist. He's from Amherst, and he comes pretty much every December and does a Christmas concert. He's very well received. He's an amazing pianist, and he plays in the Lang on our piano. We also have on Thursday, October 7th at 6, we have a dance performance, Wassail of Victorian Holiday with the Small Planet Dancers. If anyone's ever seen them, they're a very...
Did you said October or December?
I might have said October, but it's December.
Okay.
December 7th, and that's a Thursday night. So they have a kind of a broad range of ages that participate in these dances. And so they're going to come and do a whole bunch of different dances from the Victorian time period. So that should be really very interesting. So,
and then lest we forget, on Friday, December 1st, we have our wine tasting event, which is the best Christmas party in Westfield by far. So people have to put that on their calendar, make sure they show up for that, because that could be a lot of fun and a lot of interesting different wines to drink. So
where are the wines coming from?
They're coming from Pips Liquor here in Westfield. They're providing the wine, and they always come up with, they've done it for us in the past. They've always come up with a nice selection there. So it's a chance to really try out some new wines that are should be very interesting for people.
Are these locally produced wines, or are they from around the world?
Usually they do have some local wines as well as other wines from other countries and this sort of thing. They try to come up with a real variety, and in the past, they've definitely had local wines.
That sounds good, and I'm sure there's accompanying tidbits to eat and things, good stuff like that.
Oh yes, yes. You have to have hors d'oeuvres as well, absolutely. And there's going to be live music for that. We'll have some musicians here to perform as well. So it's going to be a great party. It's always a lot of fun. We usually have some auctions where we auction off wreaths, Christmas kinds of things. And also, too, it'll be an opportunity for people to come in to see the newly renovated Smith Museum room, which is upstairs from the Reed Room where the main history exhibits are. So that'll be an extra treat. On top of that, in the Rand Gallery, in the art gallery, we're going to have a great show of Westfield artists. So it's going to be a great chance to come see friends, try some different wines, see the History Museum, and see the art exhibit.
Do you decorate the Athenaeum for the holidays?
Oh yes. We have a full decorating committee, and they're a dedicated group. So the Athenaeum will be transformed into a winter wonderland for the holidays for sure. Yeah.
Well, as we're taping this morning, which is Wednesday, November 1st, there are these little white flakes that seem to be intermittently falling. It actually is starting to put me in the post-Halloween, pre-holiday season, set of mind.
Yes.
Now,
We got a little taste of winter. November is coming in and telling us what's ahead for sure.
For sure. I mean, I'm already counting down the days till the pool opens. This idea of snow just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So what about vacation week? The Thanksgiving holiday and the Christmas week and stuff like that. Are there a lot of programs for kids?
Yeah, our Boys and Girls Library does a lot of programming for children. It's still in the works at this point, but they typically have something going on pretty much every day during that time. So it's a busy B&G during that week for sure.
And the other thing I'd say is it's also the end of the year coming up, and the Westfield Athenaeum, like just about every great arts organization around, is a not-for-profit, so people could be giving you guys a present with a donation.
Well, we hope, we always do a fundraising drive at the end of the year. We send out notices, and the Westfield community is very supportive of the Athenaeum. We get a lot of donations at that time. And then, of course, the wine tasting serves as a fundraiser for us as well. And so many people sponsor, many businesses and individuals sponsor the wine tasting. So yes, there's a lot of fundraising activity that goes on toward the end of the year, and we really appreciate the support we get from the entire community.
Now, back in the summer, you ran a bus trip to Tanglewood to kind of develop an opportunity for people who use the Athenaeum to get together, socialize, and go to a concert. You had mentioned the idea that you might be expanding it to during the year. Do you have any concert bus trips scheduled for now through the holidays or into 2024?
Well, we don't have any trips planned for during the holiday season. Not a good time during the holiday season. People are so busy with other things. But we just got through taking a trip to the Clark Art Museum in September. That was very enjoyable. Everybody had a great time. We saw the Edvard Munch exhibit, a chance to see a really wide selection of his works, something that probably won't be coming back to the United States for a long time to be able to see that many works by Edvard Munch. So that was a great exhibit. We had a wonderful lunch at the Red Lion Inn, which was really great. And then we went down to the museum. So what we want to do come the new year, probably February, March time period, is we hope to organize either a concert trip or another trip to a museum. So we're trying to do both, have some concert trips and have some museum trips. But we're definitely planning on doing Tanglewood next summer. That's been so successful. People really enjoy the chance to go sit out on the lawn and enjoy a concert, and we usually plan a dinner connected with that as well. So it's a great social activity and a chance to hear great music as well. So we've got several things lined up. Nothing is we have specific dates for yet, but people should check out our website, westath.org, on a regular basis, so they can be updated on upcoming events. Which reminds me, I think that's just a good thing for people to keep in mind is we have so many. We've mentioned a few programs here coming up, but we have so many activities going on at the Athenaeum. You really need to check the website at least once a week to stay up on what we're doing here.
Yeah, because you have book clubs and technology courses and all kinds of things that libraries and museums don't always offer on an ongoing basis. But I checked the website, maybe it was earlier this week, and I was just astounded at the variety of programs that are offered. And it is really Westfield's cultural resource. It's right on the circle in downtown. It is a place you can go to take out a book or a film or something like that. You can sit and read. It's got some nice reading areas in it, or go to an exhibit or a concert or whatever.
Another thing that we've been doing that is kind of neat is a matinee Friday afternoon, and we're showing classic movies. So, for example, on Friday, October 8th, we're doing the Shop Around the Corner.
That's December,
I'm sorry,
Becky.
December 8th.
December.
Sorry. The Shop Around the Corner, which is the movie that was referenced in You've Got Mail. People might recognize that.
Yeah, Broadway people know it because it was turned into the musical She Loves Me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then November 27th, we have That Touch of Mink. So we've been doing these kind of classic movies, which has been pretty fun. That's at 2:00 on Friday.
And are they free or do you have to pay?
Oh, they're free.
That's so cool, because some of these movies are just not meant to be watched on your small screen. And
Right.
Even though you don't have a Cinerama-sized screen in the auditorium, to see something on the big screen, some of these old-time movies is just a treat.
And people seem to enjoy discussing them after too.
Yeah, who picks the movies?
Sit around and...
Who picks the movies, Becky?
Sarah Abadamarco, our new public services librarian, is picking them.
And
So she's done a great job. She's done The Incredible Shrinking Woman. What's the one? Feed Me Seymour. Little Shop of Horrors. So she's been doing a lot of those older movies, and that seems to be very well received.
So it's possible we may see Valley of the Dolls one day live at the Westfield Athenaeum.
Maybe.
Always a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, a slim one, but, one can dream, so to speak. We're going to take a quick break to acknowledge our underwriters that make On the Mark and other programs possible here on Westfield Community Programming, Channel 15, 89.5 FM WSKB, and our media partners at Agawam Media and Southwick Community Television. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach, and we'll return after these messages, so don't go away.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating, Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio, 89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to On the Mark, everyone. I'm Mark Auerbach. Peter Colts is our chief engineer. We're chatting with Becky Blackburn and Guy McLain from the Westfield Athenaeum, westath.org. If you missed a part of today's program or you want to share it with friends or watch it again, it's stored on WSKB Community Radio's YouTube page, along with a whole bunch of programs called Athenaeum Spotlight, which profile and feature some of the great things that are going on at the Westfield Athenaeum. So Guy and Becky, it's always a pleasure to have you on this program. You got the movies going, and what in terms of exhibitions, Guy, in the art museum, you're going to be doing something with Westfield artists that's being shared at Westfield on weekends and other venues, correct?
Yeah, yes. Well, right now we have an exhibit that's featuring a variety of Westfield artists. It's called Inspired: 2 Centuries of Westfield Art, and it goes back. What we're doing is we're putting together both historical survey of the art that's been created in Westfield over the last 2 centuries, as well as a look at contemporary art, the artists that are active in Westfield today. And so we have paintings that go back to as early as 1815. We have the work of Marianne Douglas Johnson, who was a professional artist here in Westfield in the 19th century. She painted very actively in the 1850s and 1860s. We have one of her paintings on display showing Elm Street, right next to the Athenaeum, in fact, what it looked like in 1852. And then we have paintings that, by early 20th century artists, people like Edith Chadwick, Muriel Ritchie, who were active artists at that time. And then we have a selection of, oh my gosh, I don't even know the number, at least 20 artists active in Westfield right now. And the show is at in the Rand Gallery here at the Athenaeum, but is also in the Renova building down, which is the headquarters for Westfield on weekends. So it's a big show. And I think people will really enjoy seeing the variety of art. It's amazing the range of artists, what they've landscapes, still lifes, abstract paintings, just an incredible variety of art that's come out of Westfield. And I've been pointing out to people, Westfield is known for its industry, but it's not so much known for its art. Hopefully this exhibit will show that along with the industry that's come out of Westfield, there's also been a lot of really interesting art.
Is this the first time that you've collaborated with Westfield on weekends and doing a citywide exhibit?
No, actually, this is the second time we did an exhibit this summer in connection with them. We're forming a really nice relationship with Westfield on weekends because they have a great exhibit space as well. It's just down the street from us, so we can do receptions together and host shows together. And what it does, it enhances the experience. We would have not been able to show half as much art in this exhibit if it hadn't been for the collaboration with Westfield on weekends. It allows us to really expand the scope of an exhibit. And an exhibit like this one, it's especially important because there are just so many interesting artists active that we wanted to show as many of them as possible. So we've got this relationship established. We hope to do many future exhibits with Westfield on weekends in the future.
Becky, what are some of the other collaborations that the Athenaeum has with community organizations?
We have partnered with the YMCA previously on programming. We have partnered with the food bank previously. Right now, this is kind of our biggest one, Westfield on Weekends. And we are getting involved in some of the other art organizations in town through that. So that's kind of
Well, and
anything
then
else?
and then of course, youth services is working together with the schools,
Right.
trying to develop, improve our teen program. We have a very active teen program. We have activities for the teens almost every day after school, and special events sometimes in the evening for teens. And we many times coordinate those activities with the school department. So yeah, there's a lot of collaborations.
And we also provide a lot of meeting room space for local organizations, like the Girl Scouts, different types of organizations in town that just need a big space to meet. They just don't have enough space for all the people. So we do provide that service for the community that I think is really, really valuable.
Do you have an interaction at all with Westfield State University? Do the students from Westfield State come to the Athenaeum? Are there any formalized programs?
We have partnered with them to do a zine workshop. We did that last spring, and then we are actually having another one this coming. I actually wrote it because it's coming up soon. On November 18th, there's a zine workshop at 3 p.m. So people don't really know what a zine is, but it's basically a handmade, like tiny mini magazine that is produced usually by photocopies to a very limited distribution. And it was a really big part of like the Riot Girls and the punk movement. People just like getting their, kind of like not mainstream ideas out there. And it's really enjoying a resurgence right now. And one of the things that Westfield State is really focusing on right now is they are collecting a zine. They're creating a zine collection, and they've got quite a few, and they're looking to make more of them. And in that way, they're introducing the zine collection to people and showing them how to make them, and then adding them to their collection. So we've been a part of that over the last like almost year, I'd say.
One of the things I got to say about the Athenaeum is I usually show up there in the mid-afternoons on the days when the musicians are performing. There are a lot of kids at the Athenaeum after school. It really surprised me. Some of them are loitering because they probably have no place to go, but a lot of them are doing their homework or meeting in small groups and things like that. Now, I go to my town library in Longmeadow oftentimes to either research something or to get away from the office. But I don't see after school a lot of kids there. I mean, I see some, but or children, young children that are brought by their parents. But it seems like the Westfield Athenaeum is a hangout for Westfield high school students after school.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I think that's something that the Athenaeum, we're very proud of the service we provide for the teens. Teens many times don't have a good, safe place to go hang out. And sometimes, yes, as you said earlier, sometimes they're just loitering, but I'd rather see teens hang out and socialize in the library than somewhere else. And that's why we provide a space where if a group of teens wants to come in and just be together with friends, they can do that. But we also provide social programs for them, and we also provide spaces for them to work on homework or read a book or something, and they do that. They tend to go to different sections based on what they want to do. If they want to socialize or they want to participate with a program, they'll go to one area. If they want to do homework, they'll go to another. So I think this is an important part of what we offer, is a place for teens to come after school, safe environment, but also an environment where they can learn or work on their homework, do a variety of things.
That's great. We only have less than a minute here to go. The time sure flies when you guys are on the air. But with the holidays coming up, it's Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and we talk about what we're thankful for. What's the Athenaeum thankful for this year, Guy?
What we're thankful for. We're thankful just simply for the amount of activity and support from the community. We're as we've been outlining here, we're doing a lot of programming, a lot of activity, and then we're doing the more traditional things too. We're providing books to the community to come in, and we're thankful for the support we get from the community, but just also the activity. It's great to come into the library each day and see people coming in, using our resources, and taking advantage of what we have to offer. It makes us feel good that what we're doing is reaching out to people and benefiting their lives. So I'd say that's what we're thankful for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. It's so gratifying when people come in and they say, I did this and this was so great, this program, or whatever they've participated in, and they feel like they're becoming part of a community through that. And that's really, really important.
Well, Guy McLain and Becky Blackburn from the Westfield Athenaeum, thanks for joining me this morning on The Mark. You can find out the programs and services of the Westfield Athenaeum at their website, which is westath.org, or you can look for the Westfield Athenaeum on Facebook to get a lot of your details. We're going to take a quick break to acknowledge our underwriters, and we'll be back with more on The Mark. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. We'll return after these messages.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio 89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to On the Mark, everyone. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. And there's a great group of singers in Northampton called the Young at Heart Chorus. You've probably seen the documentary about them. They perform all over the world, and they are Northampton-based, and Bob Cillman is their artistic director and probably you could say is his founder. But in order to sing with Young at Heart, you have to be 75 or plus, and these singing seniors perform all kinds of contemporary music, from rock to country western to bluegrass and stuff like that. And they've got a big event coming to the Academy of Music Theater in Northampton this month. And Bob, it's great to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. I think we talked way back on our 40th anniversary. We're now 41.
That's right. I mean, well, every year counts when you're a 75-year-old plus singer, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have watched it. I've gone to concerts over the years, watched the documentaries and stuff, and just become enamored of some of these singers. And I'm on your mailing list, and every once in a while, I get this sad mailing that one is passed on. And you think back to all the great performances they did, and you'd expect somebody their age to be singing like 1950 stuff or 1940 stuff, but they can rock and roll with the best of them.
I believe so, yeah. Those are tricky things to put out. You know, in many of the cases, we've been with those people for so many years. They, I think, had some of the best years of their life at the end of their life, which was a kind of a very cool thing. They toured all over the place, and, you know, but their loss leaves a huge hole every time. So,
when you started the group 41 years ago, did you expect that you'd be doing it now?
I didn't expect that I'd be doing it the week after I started it. You know, I didn't have any idea what was going to happen. I'm really kind of stunned where it went, and I'm kind of really pleased that I've had this life that I've had. Really, I owe it to all the people who have joined up in the group and have been so courageous about singing music they don't really know.
Is it daunting for them to learn music that they probably never heard before?
Yeah, it's very tricky, but I think in terms of what it does for their brains, it's really incredible. You know, a lot of the senior groups get together and sing songs that really are in their brains. So it's not really taxing on their brain at all. It doesn't use their brain that much. And when you ask people to learn stuff they don't know, it's a really good exercise. It's really good exercise for their brain. And so I think there's some real benefits medically to the work that we're doing, but we don't think about it that way so much. We think about the art that's being created. So, but yeah, I think it's got great value.
But they've got to get something out of it, because if nothing more, the applause after a performance has to be an incredible stimulation.
Oh, I believe it is. I mean, I don't think they'd be sticking around if they were singing these songs and people were throwing rotten tomatoes at them. I think that I think that's the thing, is that that's why they've really embraced this music, because they've seen how it's been responded to. You know, I don't think they'd come to this music for the fun of doing it, but I think that they do it because they realize how much it means to the audience.
Yeah. Has the program always been to do contemporary music with them, or did that evolve?
That evolved, and then that's a really good question. The truth is that when we started out, we were doing all of their music. And by their music, I mean, when we started out in 1982, we were talking about people who were really connected to the music of the 20s and the 30s. I mean, music of the 40s was like foreign to them. So, you know, we were really dealing with old stuff. And it was fun. But then I just wanted to try something. And I remember it was for an AIDS benefit in 1985, I believe. And, or maybe, I'm not sure exactly, but a woman named Diamond Lil sang the song "Do-Ah Diddy" by Manfred Mann. And the place went absolutely wild. I mean, it was a packed house. We were doing all the old stuff, and then all of a sudden we did this, and it was like people were on their feet. And I said, "There's something here. We got to explore this a little more." And that's what we've done.
So you got a benefit performance coming up on, I believe, the 19th of November at the Academy of Music in Northampton. It's called Twist and Crawl. And you've got some guest soloists joining the Young at Heart course. Give us a little snapshot of what people can expect if they come to this concert.
Well, one thing they can expect is all of these people are collaborating with Young at Heart. So the Young at Heart will be on stage for all of it. You know, they're going to be singing the songs. The dancers are going to be dancing to Young at Heart singing songs. I mean, in the past, we've had groups where they did their own stuff and we've done our own stuff, but this is all interconnected. And what they're going to see is a range of dance that's kind of great. Contemporary modern dance, to tap, to hip hop, to Irish step dance, to salsa. And my favorite, I think, is this 60s dancer who, you know, dances all the great 60s dances. So it's a real range.
The Frug and the Watusi and stuff like that.
Those two and about 20 more. Yeah. It's
wow.
like, it's a great song. It's called Shake a Tail Feather. That was, that was done in the Blues Brothers film by Ray Charles. And it's a great song, but all those dances.
So did the dancers come to you and say, let's do this music? Or did you go to the dancers and say, we're doing this music? How do you want to collaborate?
The latter. We decided we want to do these songs. Let's find the right dancers for it.
So this should be kind of like a dance extravaganza, so to speak, with some great backup singers.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, and people
soloists. I mean, you know, it's not that they're not just backup singers. But all these songs have solos. You know, so it's Young at Heart's going to be singing all the songs, and it's just that you're going to see a little bit more movement. than you would normally see in Young at Heart. Not that they can't dance themselves, and they will in this show, but they're going to be joined by some people who can dance in a very special way.
Since you've got a very special group of performers that you're working with all the time, how much do you rehearse them prior to an event like this?
Well, we have our normal rehearsals on Mondays and Thursdays. The Monday rehearsals are from 10 to noon at Bombyx in Florence, and the Thursday rehearsals are with the full band at Gateway City Arts in Holyoke from 10 to 12. And but for a show like this, we add special rehearsals. So we're rehearsing on Sundays as well.
And does it take longer for an older singer to learn the moves and get it into performance shape than it does to somebody who's in their 20s or 30s?
Oh, without a doubt, except for the really good dancers in the group who can hold their own. But the moves that we put on the chorus tend to be their own sort of spontaneous moves. Or, we use chairs a lot as props for movement, and it's kind of a different thing. But yeah, it takes them long. I would say to learn any kind of movements takes longer with this group.
And I would assume, because I know I'm an aging body, your flexibility when you get older is more difficult. I studied dance and performed in musical theater when I was younger. Today, I don't think I could dance particularly well. My mind knows the movements, my upper body does, but my lower body, I'd need to be holding onto a chair to basically move.
Well, that's basically the case, but I will say that we have an 89-year-old tap dancer who's really good, and we had in the past a woman who did the splits up until her 90s. So
that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
I know the minimum age to join is 75. How often
Correct.
do you hold auditions?
We don't really hold auditions. The thing about auditions for the chorus is you don't really learn anything the first time somebody shows up. Like, if they're a great singer, you'll learn that they're a great singer, but you don't know if they're going to be a great fit for the chorus. And sometimes people can hardly open their mouth, and they turn out to be great performers. So what we do instead is we have people come, and come for almost a year before we really can commit to one another, so that we can really get a sense of who they are, how they'll be. I mean, there are people who in any normal audition would flunk right away, but for us, people become interesting characters as well as interesting singers. So there's been a lot of fabulous people who had pretty miserable auditions.
So the youngest is 75. Who are the oldest?
Well, our oldest doesn't come that often anymore, but when she comes, she rocks the house. She's 101 years old, and she's Dora Morrow, and she in herself is a fabulous dancer, and I think can still shake a tail feather, as they say. But the oldest that's going to be there at the show is 95, and she's the person who's been with the group the longest. She's been with us when we did the show Flaming Saddles back in 1994. She joined, so she's been here about 28 years. And what's great about her, she's Irish, and she loves to do these little jigs every once in a while. And we got these incredible Irish step dancers from the Duffy Academy that are coming, who it just puts a smile on her face that's bigger than her whole body. So
I know you founded them and put it together. What were you doing at the time when you did this?
Well, I was dabbling in the arts. I worked for a group that people probably won't remember, but they did theater in town called City Studio Theater. I was the stage manager for them. I was running the projectors at the Pleasant Street Theater, and I was creating my own little film series when I worked with the Hampshire Community Action Commission. But I got a job working at a meal site called the Walter Salvo House and through Highland Valley Elder Services. And, my job was so easy in a way. It's all I had to really do is connect with the people. And a woman came by and said, I can play the piano, and can you get some people together? And 25 people showed up, and for 41 years, once or twice a week, 25 people have showed up. So it's kind of an amazing journey.
How does the Young at Heart fund themselves? I know you go out on tour and you've taken the group abroad. Who pays the tab for that?
Well, the presenters do, and it can be a pretty big tab, if you're going to Japan or you're going to New Zealand or you're going to Singapore or anywhere in Europe, that the costs are enormous with the plane. But we are pretty well known there, and so we get good audiences. So somehow they make it work. We do have a new development director that just started on Monday. So in terms of how we pay for all of our general expenses, we're really working on that right now.
So when you do a tour and you're taking travelers, so to speak, that need a little bit of extra time and can't overbook or overschedule because they need to nap in between, jet lag and everything else, how do you accommodate them?
Well, we do plan for jet lag. When we go to Europe, if we arrive on a Monday, we won't perform until a Wednesday. If we go to Japan, if we arrive on a Monday, we won't perform until a Thursday. It's that sort of thing. And I do remember that one time, our very first time touring, we took a doctor on tour with us, and because we thought we would need that. And it turned out he was the only one who got sick on the tour. Actually, we go to so many places that have incredible medical systems that, they assign somebody to us to make sure that there's somebody kind of on call at all time.
So beyond this concert in November at the Academy of Music, what's on the performance roster for 2023-24?
Well, we hope to tour a bunch with a show called The Love Show. And we are going, we have a couple of festivals that I'm not allowed to announce yet, but we will when we can. And we're starting to work with the American International College, AIC, and hope to do some shows there in Springfield.
That's terrific. I know that you've collaborated with other projects, that you did something with the prison system and things like that. Do you have some collaborations underway this year?
We stopped all that during the pandemic, and we haven't started yet, but that's a really, that's a project that's dear to our hearts. And I think this year we're going to try to figure out a way to get back into both the Hampshire County prison in Northampton and the women's prison in Chicopee. Those were the two places where we had.
And what did you do behind bars with them?
Well, we created choruses. We created choruses of inmates, and we did in both prisons. And then we would do shows together where we'd bring in the whole chorus, and we would kind of open for the inmate choruses. So it was a really sweet project. And then we would do some songs together, which was also really nice.
Now, the inmate chorus is singing the same kind of music, or did they do it?
It's a very interesting. Their music is a little bit more contemporary, and we're finally doing more contemporary stuff like Lizzo and Rihanna and Miley Cyrus and things like that. But the inmates were not singing 60s numbers. They were singing stuff from 2020 or 2019, because that's when we stopped after the pandemic.
That sounds incredible. How can people learn about Young at Heart, and where can they get tickets for the 19th?
Right. Well, you can always go onto our website, which very simply is youngatheartchorus.com, which is young, the @ Wait, is it? No, it's young, ATHEARTCHORUS.com. So it's www.youngheartchorus.com. AtheheartChorus.com. Sorry, it's not easy. But if you just put Young at Heart in any search field, put in Young at Heart Chorus, will come up.
You'll come up, and you're on Facebook and everything else. And
Instagram. And tickets. For tickets, you can go to the Academy of Music website, which is aomtheater.com, and it's RE, and you'll see a list of events. And just choose our events, and you can book a ticket that way. Or you can call from Tuesday to Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. at 413-584-9032, extension 105.
for me, the easiest way is to go right to their website and you click, and those tickets are waiting for you at the door.
Right.
Well, Bob Cillman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Good luck with the upcoming performance with the Young at Heart Chorus.
Thank you so
And
much.
this
I
is
really
the-
appreciate that you keep on being interested in what we're doing. I think it's so great.
I love the chorus. I'm a number one fan. And so we'll have to have you back for the 42nd season.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll be happy to announce it on your show.
Terrific. And this wraps up this edition of On the Mark. Peter Coles has been our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. We've been chatting with Bob Cillman from the Young at Heart Chorus. I'm going to leave you with a little musical segue of the Young at Heart Chorus, and we'll see you next Wednesday with an all-new edition of On the Mark.
Well, when I'm lying in my bed at night, nothing ever seems to turn out right. I don't want to grow up. How do you move in a world of fog? It's always changing things. Makes me wish that I could be a dog. But when I see the price you have to pay, I don't want to grow up. I don't ever want to be that way. I don't want to grow up. Seems like folks turn into things that they never want. The only thing to live for is today. I'm gonna put a hole in my TV set. I don't wanna grow up. Open up the medicine chest. I don't wanna grow up. I don't wanna have to shout it out. I don't want my hair to fall out. I don't wanna be filled with doubt. I don't wanna be a good Boy Scout. I don't wanna have to learn to count. I don't wanna have the biggest amount. I don't wanna grow up. Well, when I see my parents fight, I don't wanna grow up. They all go out and drinking all night. I don't wanna grow up. Rather stay here in my room. Nothing out there but sad and gloom. I don't want to live in a big old tomb on Grand Street. Whoa, when I see the 5 o'clock news, I don't want to grow up. Comb their hair and shine their shoes. I don't want to grow up. Stay around my old hometown. Don't want to put my money down. I don't want to get me a big old loan. Work them fingers to the bone. I don't want to float a broom. Fall in love, get married, then boom. How in the hell did it get here so soon?